Hello, class. Welcome once again to Valeto's Maths Academy. Today we'll be looking at inequalities. In our past lectures, we've looked at equalities in terms of linear equations, quadratic equations, simultaneous equations. Today we'll be looking at inequalities. And we hope that by the end of this class, you'll be able to understand and solve problems on inequalities. You'll be able to apply the rules of inequalities and participate in our interactive task. Okay. So for inequalities, just like equalities is equation. Inequalities meaning is not equal to. Okay. So we have about five symbols that represent inequalities or that we use in inequalities. The first one is not equal to. The second one is the less than sign. The third one is the greater than. And the fourth one is the less than or equal to. And the fifth one is the greater than or equal to sign. All right. Okay, so these are the signs or the symbols for inequality. All right, the rules of inequality are the same as that of equations. However, for inequality, we have some properties that are very important that you should know in order to be able to solve inequality problems correctly. So if A, B, C are real numbers. Let us imagine that these are real numbers. In inequality, we have certain properties. We'll talk about first the transitive property. Transitive. How they spell that now? Transitive property. Okay. Which says that if A, remember we say let A, B, C be real numbers. So if A, it's just like logic. If A, when we get to logic, you'll see more of things like this. Okay. If A is less than B and B is less than C, then we can conveniently say that A is less than C. Do you find the logic there? If A is less than B and B is less than C, then it means that A is less than C. This is what we call the transitive property of inequalities. Okay, then we have another property of inequality, which is the addition property. Addition. Okay. So this says that if A is less than B, then let me write it down. If I say if A is less than B, then it means that A plus C is less than B plus C. This is another logical statement. It means that A plus B is less than what? B plus C. Okay. Then we have the subtraction property. Subtraction. Okay. And just like in addition, this one says if A is less than B, then A plus C is less than B plus A minus C is less than B minus C. Is less than A minus B is less than B minus C. Okay, that is subtraction property. Then we have Also, we have the transitive, addition, subtraction. We have the multiplication property. The multiplication. Okay, let me continue here. The multiplication property of inequalities. For positive integer, please. For positive integer. So we say here, if A is less than B and C is greater than 0, then A multiplied by C is less than B multiplied by C. What I'm trying to say is, as far as C is greater than 0, so if A is less than B and C is greater than 0, then A times C must be less than B times C. So you can put these things to test and see if it's correct. If we take three numbers, okay, if we take A for instance, if we want to put this multiplication to the test now, if A is equal to 2 and B is equal to 4 and C is equal to 5, what it means is that if A is less than B and C is greater than 0, then A multiplied by C is less than B multiplied by C. So this is A, this is B, and this is C. So what they are saying, A 2 times 4 must be less than 4 times 5. Okay, that is what inequalities is saying. That's the multiplication property of inequality. Then, above all this, we have one very important rule in inequality, which we call the golden rule. It says that you should flip the symbol if you divide or multiply by a negative number. Okay, flip the symbol if you multiply or divide by a negative number. This is all we need to know in inequalities. So if you divide by -3, you have to flip the symbol. So if the symbol was a less than sign, it must change to a greater than sign if you have to divide by -3. If the symbol was less than or equal to, it has to be flipped to greater than or equal to. Okay, all right. So with the knowledge of all this, we can then attempt all our worked examples, and this is all inequality is talking about. All right, so worked example 1 here, we have x plus 3 is greater than 7. Okay, so like we said, you attempt inequalities like equation. The only difference is if you are dividing or multiplying by a negative number. So x plus 3 is greater than 7. Just like equations, we take 3 to the other side of the equation. It becomes x is greater than 7 minus 3, and x is greater than 4. Okay, no issues. We leave the symbol as it is because it's not being multiplied or divided by a negative integer. Number 2, 2x is less than or equal to 10. Here it means that x is less than or equal to 10 over 2, and x is equal to what? 5. Is less than or equal to 5. Sorry, this is inequality, not equations. Okay, so if they say x is less than or equal to 5, on the number line now, what they call a number line is a line that has both negative and positive numbers. From 0 in the middle, you have 1 minus 1, 2 minus 2, 3 minus 3. This is what is called a number line. 4 minus 4. Okay, So they are telling you that x now is less than or equal to 5. Okay, so if x is here, it's either x is 5 or it's less than or equal to 5. All right, so it means that you cannot find the value of x after 5. You find the value of x either from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 or less than that. Okay, we'll look at number 3. Solve minus 3x is greater than 9. Inequalities is a very simple topic if you understand the properties of inequalities and the golden rule, which says when you divide or multiply by a negative number, you flip the sign, okay, or you reverse the sign. So now we are dividing. X is equals to, you flip the sign because you are dividing, the coefficient of x is negative here, negative 3. So x is now less than 9 over 3. All right, and 9 divided by negative 3, we can say x is less than what? Negative 3. This is the solution, as simple as that. These inequalities for you, very simple. Or look at another example. X minus 2 is less than 6. This is the same thing as x is less than or equal to 6 plus 2, and x is less than or equal to 8. The sign or the symbol remains the same because you are not dividing by a negative number and you are not multiplying by a negative number. This is addition and subtraction. Please take note. Example 5. Solve the inequalities. 4 is less than or equal to 2x plus 6. Okay, if you take matching terms here, this will become 4 minus 6 is less than or equal to 2x. So you can also say 2x is less than, so 4 minus 6 is minus 2 is less than or equal to what? 2x. And x now will be less than or equal to what? Minus 1. Remember, you are not dividing by a negative number here. The coefficient of x here is 2. It's not negative. So what it means is x is equals to minus 2 over 2, which is the same thing as x is equals is greater, is less than minus 1. Okay, minus 1 is less than or equal to x. All right, please note here that if I'm to bring x to the left hand side, it is the same thing as x is greater than or equal to minus 1. Don't get confused here. If minus 1 is less than or equal to x, it then means that x is greater than or equal to minus 1. Remember this, okay? It is different. So if I'm to rewrite this inequality to bring x to the left hand side, this is, or make it subject of the formula, whatever you call it, it will be written like this: x is greater than or equal to minus 1. I have to flip the sign because if you listen to the grammar, it says minus 1 is less than or equal to x. So it then automatically means that x is greater than or equal to minus 1. Okay, please don't get confused. So we look at practice questions here. We'll just take one or two. We have x plus 5 is greater than 9. So this is the same thing as x is greater than what? 9 minus 5. And this is the same thing as x is greater than 4. All right. We look at number 3. Minus 2x is greater than 8. Because this is a negative integer, we then divide by minus 2 and we flip the sign. We reverse the sign. So this will now be the same thing as x is less than 8 over minus 2. And then x is less than what? Minus 4. Okay, so please try to lay your hands on other questions here and get yourself used to inequalities. Feel free to pause the video at any time to copy the questions and to solve at your own pace. We'll look at interactive task. Okay. This is a true or false question as usual. If minus 2x is greater than 6, then x is greater than minus 3. True or false? Fill in the blank. X plus what is less than 10. Okay. Find the value of x where the inequality is true. This is a multiple choice question. 3x is less than or equal to 9. What's your answer? Number 4. Draw a graph. Graph the solution for x is greater than 2 on a number line. Create your own inequalities with a negative coefficient and solve it. All right. It's time to start becoming your own master. We've had a lot of lectures on mathematics now. Our first lecture was indices, second lecture logarithms, third lecture we had algebra. We also had factorization. As our fourth lecture we had surds, we had linear equations, simultaneous equations, quadratic equations. We've had inequalities, we have polynomials. So by now you should be becoming confident in mathematics. Okay, I'll see you guys in our next lectures. So before we go, remember that inequalities are solved like equations, but watch out the inequality sign. Then reverse the sign when dividing or multiplying both sides by a negative number. That is the only time you reverse the sign. All right. And also remember that if 2 is less than x, it means that if you want to write this inequality, it is x is greater than 2. Please bear this in mind. They are the same thing. Okay. All right. Thank you. I'll see you in the next class.